Hey there everybody, thanks for joining us again. In this week's video, we're going to be building these benches for a local bar. If you want to see an edited down version of the video without any explanations, click here. Thanks. We're going to start with unloading all this wood and getting it stained so that'll dry while we wait on our metal. We're getting ready to stain the wood. We're going to use this Graco TC Pro sprayer. It's airless and it runs off DeWalt batteries, which, you know, is kind of like crack to me. Throw our stain on there. You let all the air out of the cup. And it's good to go. So as we spray, we're going in at like a 45-degree angle, and that gets this face and the top face, and then we'll do it again from the other side to get the other face. So now we just let this all sit for 10-15 minutes, and we'll come back and wipe off any stain that hasn't absorbed into the wood. That stops the wood from getting splotchy. Alrighty, so all of our metal just showed up for these benches. That's a lot of metal. And we're gonna get right into cutting them all up into lengths. This is the benefit to drawing it down on the computer beforehand, of course, is we can cut everything. There's no cut and fit. All right, so we've cut all the pieces for an end of the benches, and we're gonna jig this up on the table. So now that the jig is all set up, we can repeat this. This is great in this situation because we have to make 20 of these. So now this is all welded out, we can pop it out of the jig, and we just rinse, lather, repeat.
Yeah, you better do this.
All right. So this is the frame that makes up the inside corner of where two benches meet. So it's different than the rest of them. Because these have to be made identical, what we're gonna do is build the first one, and then we're gonna build the second one on top of it so everything lines up beautifully. All right, so we're just making a change to our jig so we can build all the frames for the middle of the bench runs. There's gonna be 4 runners connecting everything. So we cut those runners, just need to weld them down. All right, so Tommy and I have now cut all the pieces for the 16 frames that make up the middle of the benches and put the correct angles on them. Now it's just a matter of weld, and more welding.
And then we get to grind, and grind some more.
So one benefit to doing a jig like this on a flat metal table is that it's real easy to just knock all these pieces off. While Tommy wipes down all the oil on the frames, I will take the jig apart. All right, so we've got 2 of our tables laid out here. One of the best things you can do in your shop is have all your work surfaces be the same height. These tables are the same height as a welding table, which is the same height as all the cutting tables, which is the same height as all our little tripod supports. Makes life easy. We're gonna tack up the frame here, just to make sure everything's lined up correctly and we got our angles right. Get to it. Drum and low. Oh yeah, all right. Yeah, we can get that over as fast as we had to. So now we've got to weld in the middle frames and weld on the pieces that make up the table. We've cut some spacers out of a scrap piece of 2x4 to make that easier to do. Let's get right to it. So to match this perfectly, take a bunch of measurements. Or you just hit it with some primer. There's your cuts you need.
In order to get the angles correct for the two benches that meet at a corner, we're gonna put them all up on the table so that they're level, and then build the second one off of the first.
Okay, so now that we've welded out everything on the benches, we need to put in the supports that are gonna hold the wood slats that make up the seats and backrests. Tommy cut and drilled out these pieces of metal, and then I made a jig on the plasma cutter to put a notch in them so that they will go around the uprights of the tables and separately the legs.
While I finish the last of the welding and grind out the corners on the third bench, Tommy's over here cleaning and putting a clear coat on the previous benches.
So in order to put leveling feet on the bottom of the benches, we're gonna use these nutserts. They're like a rivet, except they're hollow and they're threaded. This is the tool for them. You just thread it on there, stick it in the hole, and you squeeze, and then you can just spin the tool out. And then we screw in a 5/16 bolt that's 1.25 inches long into each nutsert to use as leveling feet. Alrighty, so now that we've cut all the full length of wood down to all our individual pieces, they've been numbered so that we can put them back together where they go correctly, easily. We are going to stain these cut ends and then lay them all out and put 3 coats of spar urethane on them, which stands up real well to the sunlight. All right, so Tommy dips the ends of the boards in a little bowl over there with stain in it and wipes them off, then hands them to me where I have a cleaner rag and wipe them off even more. That way they dry pretty quickly and we don't have to hit them a second time. So now that the stain is dried on the cut ends, we're gonna go through and flip every board so the side of it that looks the worst is facing up. That will end up being the underside in the finished product. Alrighty, so we have got all the wood finished. This has 3 coats of clear on the top and 2 on the bottom. All of our metal frames are done. We're gonna get ready to load those up on the trailer, and my second favorite part of a job, delivery. They all fit. We didn't have to cut any of them to install them. So we delivered all the wood for our benches after we delivered the frames, due to the fact they would have been so heavy and hard to move with the wood already attached. Now, due to the fact that we numbered each piece of wood, it was very easy to assemble them all back into their proper place. The wood for the backrests of each bench are installed using a spacer to get even results. The wood underneath is attached from below
with 2 screws on each side of each board.
So while Tommy socks in all the screws to hold this wood down, my job is to sit here and make sure the spacing's right and then make his job easier. Feed him screws, move the blanket he's laying on, etc. So this is where our leveling feet come in really valuable. The floor's got a slope to it, which makes our corner not meet up.
In the corner of the angled bench, we added a half dozen bolts to attach together. That also helped us level everything.
Alright everybody, thanks for joining us for that video. If you want to see some more content like this, go ahead and subscribe. Like the video if you think it earned it. If you got any questions, leave them down in the comments. If you want to see any of the products that we used on this, there'll be links in the description that help support the channel. And if you're interested in building your own bench like these, I'm going to be selling plans for this design and a couple others on my website. That'll be $5. Thanks. See you next time.